Hello, boys of class 6. Welcome to you to another online class of science. I'm your Vichitra sir. Today, I will start a new chapter, that is chapter 10. The topic of this chapter is motion. So, let us start the chapter. All objects in the world are of two types of state of position. Either they are rest or they are in motion. Any type of objects, either it is in rest or it is in motion. So there are only two states, rest or motion. Now what is rest? Relative to an observer, when the bodies are not changing their position with time, then state of bodies is called rest. When the object is not changing its position with time with respect to an observer, then the state of the object is known as rest. As an example, when a person is standing beside a tree, then the tree and other objects relative to that person is not changing their position. So relative to that person, tree beside the road is at rest. So the tree and the standing person on the road, they're not changing. The tree is not changing its position with respect to the person. So the tree is at rest with respect to that person. Now let us know what is motion. When the position of any bodies is changing relative to an observer with time, then state of body is called motion. That means when the position is changing due to time, then the state of the object is known as motion. As an example, when a person is in running bus, then the tree beside the road is changing its position by time. The person will see that the tree is going backward, and with respect to that person, the tree is moving and changing its position. It is going far away from the bus. So for that basis, for respect to of that person, the tree beside the road is at motion. Reference frame. What is reference frame? We're talking that we're with respect to something or somebody, we're treating the position of state. So that person or that thing, with respect to that, with respect to we are considering the state, it is known as reference frame. The observer, relative to whom rest or motion of the other bodies are determined, is called reference frame. Hence, reference frame can be specified object or point. Just think, the distance of your school from your house is 5 kilometers. So in this case, your house is the reference frame for the distance of your school. Now let us know more thing about motion. Let us state of all bodies are at relative rest or relative motion in the world. No state is absolute rest or motion. That means you can't say that a body is perfectly in rest. It can be changed with respect to relative frame or relative person. So let us know how it is possible. Let us consider one event where there are three bodies. First body is a person in a running bus, second body is another person standing at bus stop, and third body is a tree beside the bus stop. Now, relative to the person standing at bus stop and tree, the person in bus is at motion, but relative to the bus, the person is at rest, because the bus and the person is moving at the same speed. So the position of bus and that person sitting in the bus is not changing their position. Their mutual position is always same. So with respect to bus, the person is at rest, but the person who is standing at the road, he is seeing that the person is moving. So with respect to that person standing on the road, the person in the bus is at motion. Now again, if you think, relative to the person in the bus, the person standing at bus stop is going backward, but relative to tree beside the bus stop, the same person is at rest, because the person in the bus is moving forward and he is seeing that the person standing on the road is moving backward, but actually the person is standing on the road and the tree beside the road is not changing their mutual position. So respect to the tree, the person standing in the bus is at rest, but respect to that person in the bus, the person standing in the road is at motion. So we can say that anybody which is at motion relative to one object can be at rest relative to another object. Therefore, it is true that state of anything cannot be absolute rest or motion. It is relative rest or relative motion. Now let us know how many types of motion. Actually, there are 5 types of motion. They are translation motion, rotational motion or circular motion, translorotatory or complex motion, periodic motion, and vibratory or oscillatory motion. Now let us know about this type of motion. Translation motion. When an object moves in such a way that all points of objects traverse the same distance with same time in the same direction is known as transversal motion. Now let us think about a box. If you are pushing a box, then the part of the box that is on your side and the side that is opposite to your side is moving where you are forcing or trying to moving the box. So in that sense, the starting position of box and finishing position of box traverse the same distance at the same time. So in this case, all point of box has traversed same distance in the same direction with same time. So this kind of motion is translation motion. This box can be pushed through a plane, or it can be an inclined plane. You may observe in the road that labor are pushing the goods to pick up on the truck or lorry with the help of an inclined plane. This is same as this example. So that motion of the box is actually translation motion, because not only single portion of the box is moving in this motion, the whole box is moving and all the part covering the same distance. That is called translation motion. There are 2 types of translation motion. One is rectilinear. Rectilinear means when anybody moves along a straight line, that motion is known as rectilinear motion. And curvilinear motion, when any object moves through curved line, that motion is known as curvilinear motion. Now let us know about rotational or circular motion. When an object moves in a circular way where every points of object do not follow the same direction but revolves round the center making same angle with the radius, is called rotational motion. That means it moves in a circular way and all time the direction of every point is not same, but they are making same angle with the center and revolving around the center. Just motion of the fan is a rotational motion. Now let us know about translorotatory motion. The motion in which object moves or revolves in circular way but traverse distance in straight line. That means the particle is moving round or circular way, but it traverses distance in straight line is known as translation motion. Actually, here both translation and rotational, both motion are active. The motion of bicycle is known as translation motion. In this motion, bicycle's wheels are rotate in circular way and traverse distance in straight line. So you can easily see in case of bicycle, when the wheel are rotate, then the cycle is passing a distance. So wheel are exact motion of rotation, but the whole cycle is traverse the distance in translation motion. So this complex motion becomes translation motion. Now, what is periodic motion? If an object travels certain distance of its path from the same direction after certain definite intervals of time repeatedly, the motion is known as periodic motion. Actually, when any object is covering or passing a definite point from the same direction repeatedly and in the same time interval, then it is known as periodic motion. Motion of minute hand of clock is a periodic motion, because when the minute hand is passing the clock in the same direction and in the same time interval, it is passing that a certain point of the clock. So motion of clock is actually periodic motion. Oscillatory motion or vibratory motion. Actually, this oscillatory or vibratory motion is a type of periodic motion. When an object moves in a way that half of its time, it travels in one direction and rest of the time it travels in the opposite direction of previous, is known as oscillatory motion. That means if it is travel for 10 seconds, 5 seconds it going right side, and for the next 5 seconds it is going on the left side, and all this both side it covers the same distance in 5 seconds. So this type of motion is known as oscillatory or vibratory motion. Actually, this is a to and fro motion, periodic motion. That means from a certain point in the beginning it going to, then again come, and it is going and fro. So come, go and come in another direction. So this kind of motion is known as oscillatory or vibratory motion. You might observe pendulum in wall clock. It is going right and left side continuously, and this type of motion is known actually oscillatory motion. So boys, I think you have realized these things. Just go through the chapters in your book, and then if you have facing any problem, let me know in the comment section. I have tried to realize the topic clearly. Then also if you have face problem, let me know. On the next class we will discuss more things from this chapter. I will suggest you just go through the rest of the topics, then it will be very easy for you to realize when you will see the next online class. Till then, I'm taking off, and I think you are doing fine with your online classes. So stay home and go across your online classes. Bye boys.